Hey, well, as promised, here comes your level 1 prepping video. Now, what is level 1 prepping? Level 1 prepping is the ability to get through basically 7 days of a permissive environment. It's mostly like the power lines got knocked down or just something weird is happening in the world. It's really not super serious, but it's important to be ready for it because these are the ones that happen the very most. So with that said, you basically have 3 things you need to worry about. And there's lots of little subcategories that we're going to go over, but not to get too lengthy. But you basically have a stay-at-home kit, and then you have a go bag, and then you have all of your majors. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about are all your majors. These are all done in no particular order. They're just common sense. So the first one is a heating source. If you live in a cold climate, make sure that you've got the ability to heat your environment. A wooden stove, a kerosene stove, a gas stove, and enough fuel to last 7 days. That's preferable. Now, obviously, we can do fuel and heat management, and we can just stretch out whatever amount of fuel we need to have. Maybe we freeze for a couple hours every day and then we turn the heater on. There's lots of ways of doing it, but the key thing is to make sure that you've got heat. The next thing is make sure that you've got the amount of medicine that you'll need to get through 1 week. It's that easy. Some people have very specific medicinal needs. Make sure that you got that, because if you can't leave your house, then yeah, you're going to have a problem. When we start to talk about food, the next thing you're going to need is food. Well, obviously 7 days is the rule. And make sure that they're easy to prepare food. Mostly canned goods, dry goods, things that maybe they're prepackaged and don't require a lot of water or power. If you have lots of microwave stuff or lots of stuff in your freezer, yeah, you might have a problem. So make these very simple meals and easy to prepare with what the capabilities or utensils, or make these very easy to prepare meals that require less food or energy than a normal meal. The next thing is light. Candles, lamps. They still make oil lamps. You can still buy them. You can actually buy most of this crap at Walmart. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to put some pictures up here when we start talking about other things. But you can buy a lot of this stuff right at Walmart, so this should not be an issue for you. And then obviously battery-operated devices that are going to help you stay attuned to the situation. And we'll cover one of those here shortly. So those are the kind of major things. Now let's talk about the kit. This is the kit that's going to be at your house. I recommend that you find a box to put it in. Obviously, you couldn't put 7 days worth of food into a box. Hopefully, your cabinets would be full of 7 days worth of food. That's generally what they're for. Okay, first thing, water. You need to store at least a gallon of water per person for up to 7 days. Obviously, that's 7 gallons per person. If there's 3 of you in the house, wife, husband, kid, it's 24 gallons. Do the math. Now, here's what I'll show you. If you think that you're going to go buy bottled water right now, yeah. As soon as bottled water hits the stores, it's gone. Go talk to the nice guy who's stocking stuff and say, when's the truck come in? Yeah. Have a conversation about how fast things are leaving the shelf. He'll tell you all the nice things that you want to know as long as you're nice to him. Get and store water. We talked about the food. It should be non-perishable. It should be easy to make. Most of the time, it's canned and dry goods. Battery-powered devices. This is in reference to a radio. I recommend that you go buy one of those. They're the cheapest ones on the market, and they will get here faster than Amazon can get it to you, since there's currently 42 shipping container ships off the coast of California right now. Pretty amazing. So if you think that you can get it a better way, more power to you, but let you know, they do sell these at Walmart. A flashlight, preferably solar rechargeable. Yes, they make them. I've had one for years. I stick it up in the window. I never have to worry about if I have a flashlight or not when I go outside. But if you can't get that quick enough, just get yourself a flashlight. Also, I recommend that you take a look at those, because they're the cheapest things on the planet. They last as long as you want them to. The ones you put on your head are only $1. And yeah, they're perfect for emergency situations, and they last for a bit. So I think you probably get a week's worth of work out of these things. First aid supplies. So this is what you're normally going to find. And I'm not a fan of pre-made first aid kits. It may be too late. You know, if all hell breaks loose at the end of this week, you're kind of screwed. But so you get what you can get. What you do is just make sure it's just not full of a bunch of fluff. Look at the back, look at the label, see what's inside of it. Now, this is a sticky one. Moist towelettes, trash bags, maybe some rubber gloves, but basically, and the ability to tie off the bags. This is like if you have to shit in a bag. And sometimes it happens. So make sure you buy the good thick ones. And make sure you get plenty of disinfectant wipes that are meant for skin. And yeah, because hygiene is actually pretty important. Make sure you have a wrench or pliers. That way you can turn on and off utilities. They do make these little keys. If you want to buy one of those, go right ahead. I can't remember the name of them, but I actually own like 2 of them. So they do come in handy if you're in a urban setting. One of the things that we often forget is a can opener. Don't waste your money on these cheap ones. Spend the $7 to $9 on a good can opener that you won't have to fight with, because a lot of these 98 cents, $3, $5 can openers, believe it or not, are total crap. And after you've used them a few times, they're going to fail. You're going to have problems, and it's going to make your life even harder than it needs to be. Another thing to think about too, when you buy canned goods, hey, what if we bought canned goods that have the little pop tops on them? Great idea. Take a look. Pay attention. If you can get your hand on some tarps, buy a couple. They're pretty cheap at Walmart. You can pretty much buy them in a lot of different places, and they're not that expensive. Always have a couple on hand. Worst case scenario, they're really good for temporary roof repairs. Say it's a hurricane and it's ripped the crown off your roof. Well, if you don't know what the crown is, it's the top of this little pointy part. It's the cornice of your shingles. And you don't have any shingles to fix it. Well, you can go up there with a couple of nails and tap, tap. And next thing you know, you're figuring out how to fix it permanently later. But for now, no water's coming in. That kind of thing. Tarps are also used for lots of other things that we all should know about. And the last thing on the stay-at-home kit is mess kits, paper plates, disposable utensils. Sometimes it's just easier to throw the stuff out. Now, if you don't want to, hey, that's great. The plates and the utensils and the glasses and cups in your house, they are great. But if the water gets turned off and you don't have the ability to wash things, yeah, now it's a problem. So it's something to think about. Make sure you think about that when you come up with your kit. Okay, so this is kind of a add to but not take away kit. So I'm sure you have 1,000 great ideas to add to this, or it's even what's in your kit. And you're like, oh, you forgot this. No, I didn't forget it, because this is the add to not take away kit. And if you're sporting something else special, put it in the comments. Let people know, hey, I also put this, or I also put that. I think it's a great idea, and there's no reason why we can't talk about it. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the go bag. Now, the go bag isn't a bug out bag. This is a bag that's got stuff in it that is going to help you get, maybe to your kid's house, or maybe to mom and dad's house. Or this is something that is not like we're going to walk into the woods with. This is just a go bag. So the first item is actually weird, because it's actually like copies of your personal information. Now, most of all my information is digital. If I need to pull it up, I throw the thumb drive in a device and I burp. But at some point, maybe we don't have power anymore, but that's really not what this is for. So having hard copies of different things like, your driver's license, your passport, mortgage, loans, car titles, marriage documents, things like that, they're good to have. So having a small amount of copies is great to have inside your go bag. The other thing you need to have inside that go bag is an extra set of car keys and your house keys, because it's very easy to get separated from your items. And if you do, then you have these as backup. You also need to make sure that you have an extra mobile phone charger. Make sure it's compatible with your phone. We have thousands of cords laying around. Make sure we can use it inside of our car. So you may need to have a couple of plugs, but make sure that you've got that. And next is a small contingent of supplies for our bodies. So maybe you want to have a couple of bottles of water. Maybe you want to have some energy drinks. Maybe you want to have some. Maybe you want to have some energy bars. You know, they're pretty cheap, and it's good to have. You never know when your next meal is going to be coming down the pike. You also need to make sure you have a little bit of first aid supplies. Nothing crazy. Just put some boo-boo stuff in a little plastic bag. You want to make sure that you have the that radio we talked about, a little crank-up radio, yeah, that you can buy at Walmart. Yeah, that probably fit right inside that bag too. And the nice thing too is, you know, you could have your go bag ready to go, and then it's just open, and you have the radio outside, and it's ready to use inside of your stay home kit. That way, you don't need two of them. You know, maybe you have that always plugged in and charging, waiting to go. So the go bag is for you to leave the house. You also want to look at having a list of medications that are necessary for family members. And you might want to think about having at least a 14-day supply of those medications. Because if you have to leave, there's no telling when you're going to be back to the home front to either get more or to go to your local CVS. Maybe you left the state and prescriptions don't move across state lines. You know, maybe it's good to have that too. You also need to make sure you have like a toothpaste, a toothbrush, you know, some kind of handy wipes. You know, we're starting to talk about keeping our bodies clean. That way we don't get sick. You also need to have contact and meeting information. That way, hey, I can't remember. Are we supposed to meet at the Walmart or the Jiffy Lube? And those are all good things to have. It also helps to have these things because if you made bags for your family, then you would already have that, and you could just do copy and paste, or you could, you know, just, hell, you could laminate it and stick it in the bag. It wouldn't really matter. As long as you know it's there, you're good. And it's better that everybody has access to it. That way, you're not the only one with the information. Something else you might think of, if you have young children, maybe a couple of little toys. And if they're battery powered, make sure there's a couple of batteries in there too. Otherwise, you're just going to piss them off, and that's more for you to deal with. Now, always make sure you have at least a couple of little $1 rain ponchos. Most of the time they're clear, sometimes they're orange. But that way, if you do find yourself in an environment where you have to walk, maybe in the rain, then it will make you feel much better. And the better you feel, the better the higher of your level of survivability. You also might want to look at what they call an escape tool for your car. This is really something that should be within your reach, but if you don't keep it in your car, you might want to have one in your bag. And lastly, you might want to look at having a small battery pack, you know, an external battery pack that you can recharge your phone with. They make them now. If you keep them charged, they stay charged for a very long period of time, and you could probably get away with not charging them but once a month when you do your regular gear maintenance. And this is going to basically have power for when you need it if you can't get to a plug, and it will work well with your actual phone charger too. Okay, so I hope that helped you with level 1. If you aren't there yet, you probably need to get there really fast. I would recommend that you get there really fast. Okay, so with that said, until level 2 or the next video, whatever that is, remember to stay safe and have a great day.